doing this video, I prepared myself Braukraut, Braukraut, and Brautkleid, Brautkleid. Hi, I'm Ingo. Welcome to my channel. This is my very first video. I will talk about myself, introduce myself, tell you about my past, where I'm coming from, my personal story, and tell you why I started this channel, and a little nugget at the end, a little story about Ella Williams. It's really changed my life, and I think this is a good start to share with you. You will see why. So stay tuned, stay till the end. So a little introduction about myself. I'm Ingo. I'm 33 years old. I was born in North Germany, and I did lots of stuff along the way. It turned out I'm really good in figuring stuff out. So that's basically why I started this YouTube channel. I'm currently 33 years old. And when I was 14, I was seeing that people are pretty unhappy in a way. And I always heard my mom saying, hey, I want to win the lottery and I want to get rich. And then I asked her, yeah, how can I get rich, right? So if that makes people happy, why not, right? As a 14-year-old. And I asked her, yeah, how I can be rich? Yeah, look at Bill Gates, for example. Bill Gates was pretty rich, and how did he get rich? He learned programming. So what I did to make my mom happy, to make myself happy, right? I was getting myself a book about C++ programming because I kind of figured out in the early stages of the internet that Bill Gates might have learned C++ programming. So my very first book was C++ programming when I was 14. I was also finishing the book and creating my very first little hanging man command line tool because the Visual Studio was too expensive and there was no free version to program GUIs or whatever, right? So like that. At the same time, I was pretty inspired by a friend from a rowing club. I was competitive rowing back in the days, and he was DJing, and that was pretty exciting. I love music and dancing, and was really into it. And so I decided to get myself a little mixer. I mean, at first I was soldering myself a little stereo right mixer so I can like switch to the left, to the right. So with the software BPM Studio back in the days. This is how I started DJing, and I did it for fun. Recorded mixtapes. Was then invited to a birthday from the sister of a friend, and she recommended me to a bigger party, and so then was kind of the DJ, right? So and then I was in the struggle, so I had to decide: do I go with this nerd part, or do I go with this socially accepted DJ thing, right? So and as a teenager, right in puberty, I decided to go with this DJ thing because it might be more beneficial for me in certain ways. I was pretty kind of famous in my hometown as a DJ, and was invited or asked to do lots of DJ stuff. For my second gig, I was got paid, and they kind of collected some money for me. And yeah, that was pretty cool. My first 40 euros. So that's, and then I thought, okay, maybe I can start a business with it maybe later on. But I wasn't even see me myself. It was like imaginable for me to be a DJ in a club, for example. At the same time, I started a training as an electrician, and now with 19, I was a certified electrician. With 19, I wasn't able to continue working as an electrician because for some reason there was no job back in the day. I got the chance to retrain as a mechanic and went to the back of to the south of Germany and inside of the company itself, Bosch, and I was working as a CNC milling and drilling mechanic, and now I'm a certified electrician for devices and a certified mechanic, right? So for milling and drilling and CNC work. At the same time, because Stuttgart, like south of Germany, was pretty famous for and pretty well suited for DJing. There are lots of clubs and all that. I phoned a friend and he said, "Oh, let's do DJing in clubs, right?" So and because it was so unimaginable imaginable for me, I started doing weddings first, right? So to get accustomed to the people and all that, and get practice, and it was pretty fun. And I also like earned started earning more money on the side because like weddings are good, well paid for DJs back in the days, and maybe still they are. I don't know. Yeah, long story short, I became a DJ on the side. That was also my very first side business. And at the same time, I started to struggle with time already, right? I got stressed, right? Every weekend, like doing some gigs, preparing the music on under the week, and like connecting with people and all that, right? So and also working a free shift, like early, late, and night shift, in weekly rotation. Yeah, but it was a bit challenging. But at the same time, like my former girlfriend was gifting me a book about money. Because I was so excited about this book, because it was about self-development and possibilities, like what can people achieve, like what can we do, what is possible, right? So even you remember I wanted to get rich, right? I gave it up in a way. But then I thought, okay, maybe it is possible, right? So, and what does rich even mean? Yeah. And one of the recommendations in this book was you have to read more books, right, about development, about sales, about personal skills, and to gain more skills. I have to not just read it, but I also have to put it in practice, and that's really a key. So putting what I read in practice, I started doing for quite a while. One of the recommendations to get more books faster right? So to implement it was a speed reading book. So I read a speed reading book and implemented it, and later on I even started doing seminars with speed reading because like people doubled and tripled and quadrupled and whatever the reading speed, even without any training before, right? So and in 3 days, right? So it's really, really amazing. Maybe I will also do some videos about speed reading later on. So then I started a business as a salesman, and because you kind of have to develop some sales skills in order to gain your income, right? And to um, yeah, to get rich, basically, right? What I wanted to do, I wanted to see if I can rich, right? Can become rich if it's possible, right? Just see if I fail, right? So whatever, right? Then I start again and try until I get really rich, right? So like that. And because it makes happy, right? So because my mom wanted me to get rich to buy her a house or whatever, right? So basically it was my motivation back in the days. Also, like with money, you get more girls and all that. Because I was still a teenager, was still young, not a teenager in the early 20s. So that was kind of what I was looking after. In the problems with my time, right? I got pretty stressed, working like 24/7, like literally. Also at night, right? My first speed reading seminar, for example, I prepared in the night shift on the side. Don't tell my boss. You might think, okay, if I do so much stuff on the side, like my work was coming short. In a way, it did, but still, I gained more energy. So I got more energy. So I got was able to achieve more at my job. I was able to achieve more at the DJing. I was able to achieve more. It's like it's kind of growing exponentially in a way. Yeah. So as a salesman, then I built up a team of I think 80 people was it back in the days, like 20 active people, I would say. Like they were really like doing sales, and I was kind of participating in the sales stuff. So I learned to recruit people, to talk to people, and all that. Long story short, with 26ish, I was financially independent, so I didn't had to work anymore. So I have a pile of quite a bit of money, and not like rich, but just a bit of money. And then I figured out that I was just working for my father, actually, because he said you have to be in a secure job, right? So you have to be secure and get your costs fixed, right, and covered. After realizing this, I quit my job, was discussing stuff, and learned also skills about negotiation, and I negotiated a leave payment for 40,000 euros, something like that. Yeah. And that was pretty cool, like leaving a job and even get paid for it. So it was also pretty cool. Yeah. To reward myself, I was thought, okay, no, I don't have to work again and anymore. So I was doing nothing like for 2 months, like traveling and stuff, right? And but after 2 months, because I was so active before, I wasn't able to like do nothing, right? So it wasn't possible actually for me. And so I started a business with my girlfriend at the time, and a raw food business, because I was also reading and practicing a lot. into like diet, right? So and raw food is kind of the best thing for energy, right? So I started eating very healthy also along the way, and then I thought, okay, to go all in, I did this. I started food business because it was also not available anywhere. Like even vegan and vegetarian stuff wasn't really popular back in the days. So we started with a cart of $200 and with a freezer box and all that on the street, right? Because we needed to test out what products were there and all that. Then also we did this little international business thing, right? So we did some buffets in LA, for example, for celebrities and all that. But was also helping with branding and marketing. Yeah. Then we sold this company, and because this was kind of the plan. And also I was learning, picking up my very early hobby, programming, because now I had lots of time and freedom, right? And so then I learned and studied C++ programming, and I also now have a certificate in C++ programming. So to reflect it, I'm now a certified salesman, I'm a certified electrician, I'm a certified mechanic, and I'm a certified programmer. Just why not, right? So why not getting a certificate, and then I have a teacher and a goal and all that. That's kind of how I function in a way. Because of the diet and stuff and certain exercises I was doing, I got more and more sensitive, and it got to a level that I wasn't even able to get out of the house again, right? So I was really like introverted, and even go shopping was really exhausting for me. It was really painful actually, to feel all this stress and all the if I'm around people. So I was kind of isolating myself and all that. And after again like reading lots of books, and that was I was still able to do. I figured out I'm an empath, whatever this means, right? What helped lots of people. Like the one common thing is you have to meditate, and meditation, the most meditation, the most boring thing I could imagine, like sitting around and do nothing, right? So that's what I actually couldn't really do, right? So, but I had to learn like first 1 minute sitting on the spot. That was okay. Then a few days later, 2 minutes and 3 minutes, and then I started getting good at it. Reading, read books about it, and yeah, read books and implemented them again, right? So it's like figuring stuff out for me how it works, right? It worked for me for so many areas in life, also for meditation. And then I figured out that I might be a spiritual person, whatever this means. And then I figured out that spirituality and religion, because it was the same thing for me, is actually not the same. Like religion is one thing and spirituality is another thing, and it kind of is. Religious people are also spiritual, but spiritual people doesn't have to be religious, right? So in that kind of sense. So I figured I might be spiritual, right? So like that. But now with meditation and some exercises and some spiritual voodoo stuff, I was able to like regain my energy level, and was kind of getting stronger again, right? So this I got a hang on this sensitivity, right? So and now I'm back like back in the game, and this is kind of the first thing I will start. Yeah, that's for me. I also did some volunteering and all that. But anyways, now that's about me. And yeah, lots of people ask me, hey, you know so much and you read so much and you figured stuff out, right? You should do a YouTube channel. Yeah, because I'm also like getting excited about topics I figured out for myself, and people got inspired and all that. So then, yeah, that's basically giving back to all of these wonderful people that helped me and what wrote books and did seminars and did coaching and all that. And this is kind of my way to give back to the world and to donate whatever I've learned to the world. That's basically why I started this YouTube channel. And this is still the very first video. I'm so excited. Congratulations that you're here. Thank you so much for watching. And now the one nugget and the one story that changed my life back in the days, because I had lots of excuses, right? So I was born rich, right? You have to be born rich. I was kind of poor, right? Sure, I got a good well-paid job with Bosch, but I was still poor, right? The money that came in got out as fast. as it came in, right? Or even faster, right? So yeah. So also I got in debt because I had to have a car, right? So my father said, "Oh, you have to have a car." And so you go to are able to go to your secure job and secure your life, right? Security was very important for him. And I had lots of excuses, right? Even going in the club and all that. How could I, right? So how would anybody would take me as a DJ, right? So in a club, right? This was so huge for me back in the days until I got it. Yeah, and one story, I think I answered my best in the story for you. And this story is the story about Ella Williams. And I heard this from my very first coach. And he was inviting her to Germany, was on the stage, and then she also told her personal story. And this is really interesting, and it's really changed my perspective, my mind, and my mindset, right? So, and lots of things later on with it. Yeah, and this is the story about Ella Williams. And Ella Williams was a black woman, and she grew up as a sure black kid in the United States. And her father was an alcoholic, a drunk, and an addict, right? And every time he got drunk, and he got drunk very often, he was beating her and her mother, and really abusing her through the whole to her whole childhood, right? So she really grew up with bruises and all that, and some many weeks she wasn't able to go to school because she was so bruised up and all that. Then after that, she was to get out of this hell, right? And she married the first guy she met, and she was able to that wanted her, right? And it turned out so she wanted was able to move out. And this guy was again starting to beat her up and drink and all that, and got abusive. And then she left him, and she got to because she didn't want to be alone. She got to another guy, and how could it be different? The other guy was beating her up too. So and then she thought, hey, if I no matter where I go, I got always to the same guys. I got always the same people. So she stayed for him for 10 years. Not a guy we would like or we would like to talk about. And then she got pregnant with her first kid and her second kid, and he wasn't touching the kids at first. He was just beating her up. But then and at one point he was when the kids grew older, he pulled up his hand and wanted to beat him. And then she said, "No, that's enough." Then she took her two little kids and went out on the in the night. She had nothing, right? So she just packed a few things, and that's it, a bit of food for a few days. She ran away. Nobody was helping her. Her mother was herself in an abusive thing. She had no friends because her husband kept her so close. But she was picking her kids and was running and running, and then just to get away, she didn't know how long she ran, and then she sat and on the sidewalk and with her two little kids in her hand, and she was just crying and crying, and the whole night she doesn't know how long she did cry. And then sometime in the morning, like this, the sun got up, and then the first sunbeam at her head, and then she said, "No, the sun should shine on me. No, the sun should shine on my life." And yeah, what could she do, right, with her two little kids? But then she said, "Okay, what can I do?" And she did some knitting job, because she had no education, right? She was just a housewife, right? But what can she do? She was doing knitting and stuff. Then a few years later, she got her own knitting business. Then she was entrepreneur of the year a few years later, and she also was the very first black woman eating in the White House with the president back in the days. So it was really a huge thing. My coach asked her, how are you able to do this in spite of your two kids, right? So because many people, including myself, right, have so much excuses, right? So I have these kids, I have this mortgage, I have this job, whatever, right? So I cannot start this. I'm poor, I'm sick, I'm whatever, right? And Bodo asked her, how have you achieved this despite of your kids? And then she started screaming, no, not despite of my 2 kids, because of my 2 kids did I all this. And this was it, right? The same thing other people use as excuse, she used as fuel, as power for herself, right? So in her case, it was the kids, right? For others, it might be the job, or it might be an illness, whatever, right? So it really changed me and changed my life and my perspective, my mindset. And hopefully that this will change you and your life too. And I wish you the very best, and subscribe to my channel if you like. I will tell you lots more stories, and I hope it will help you to get whatever you want and get happy at the end of the day, right? Thank you.